All right, we're going to talk about, when we talk about the Exodusters, the push-pull relationships that existed, again, that pushed the Exodusters from the south, that obviously there were conditions and environments that weren't conducive to a positive experience for them, and what was going to end up pulling them to Kansas, which was a state in need of people to, they needed to start growing their population. All right, so we'll start with the first one. What was the first example of a push?
Like the racism in the South.
What was the two examples they came up with? They were experiencing what?
Discrimination.
Okay.
Violence.
They were experiencing discrimination and violence. Now, I want you to understand there's been a misconception. What can somebody tell me what discrimination means? Now, you could be discriminated. Anybody, any one of us can be discriminated. I've been discriminated against.
Isn't it like when your race is...
Nope. It can be. It can be. There's all forms of discrimination.
When you're like talked down about, like when people are kind of talking about you.
Right. I could be discriminated against if I went to another town that didn't like people from Wamego. And I got the cold shoulder at restaurants and places of business. That's discrimination, just for the fact that I'm from Wamego. You could be discriminated against from the clothes you wear, the way you talk, anything. Discrimination is in all ways and form. In this case, it was because of their race. And there was violence. So that was the push. That was pushing them. What's going to pull them to Kansas?
They had hope because of Kansas fighting over slavery. They hoped they wouldn't get judged or discriminated there.
So Kansas, what pulled them there was Kansas fought against slavery during the Civil War, right? I'll put it in world that you understand. If there's always the battle of K-State, KU, and if you're a K-State fan, you don't want to be, and we're playing KU. You probably don't want to watch the game with a bunch of KU fans. Just like KU fans probably don't want to watch the game with a bunch of K-State fans. Okay? Why on earth would the Exodusters, the African Americans, want to live in the South? Look, after the Civil War in 1865, slavery was against the law everywhere in the United States, even in the South. Still, though, why would you want to live in the very place you were still hated against? Why would you want to live in the place now more than ever they're going to hate you even more? Why wouldn't you want to go to a place that fought against slavery during the Civil War? It beats the place that you're at. What's another push for the Exodusters?
They didn't have enough money to buy land in the South.
Yeah, they were never going to save up enough money to buy their own land. We're never going to save enough money to buy their own land. And if you want to put in parentheses, that was called sharecropping, was the big culprit for this. Look, slavery was over, but the slave owners could still stick it to the former slaves. We can't buy, sell, or trade you. We can't whip you and use forms of violence and scare tactics, but we still can get you. See, if you're a former slave, 1 year removed from the Civil War, it's not like you had money saved up. You had nothing to your name. And on top of that, nobody in the South, all the business owners were white. They weren't going to hire you. So they reformed the sharecropping. The white landowners who had all the land, they say, look, okay, here's the deal. We'll put you up room and board. We're not going to pay you right away. If the crop is good, you're going to farm the land, take care of it. If the crop is good, we'll give you a percentage of the crop or the profit. Which, guess what, was slim to none and slim left pound. Okay? So they kind of had them where they wanted, where they knew the African Americans were never going to save up enough money to buy their own land. Nobody was going to sell them the land anyway. So what was the pull to Kansas? Excitement, right? I want to hear from this side of the room. I want to hear from this side of the room. Okay, cheap land. There we go. Awesome. Cheap land. There was two more.
Good soil.
Good soil. And
Lots of trees.
lots of trees. So they're saying, hey, this is a great opportunity. We're going to go to a place where we won't be discriminated against. There's cheap land. We have a chance to raise money, and they're giving us incentives to buy land and maintain it and make it better. And after 5 years, we can outright buy it. What great opportunities we have, better than in the place where we're despised. So as we're going to find out tomorrow, there's a guy by the name of Benjamin Singleton. He's the promoter of this, the Exodusters and the movement to Nicodemus, Kansas. There's a few lies there, as you found out. Nicodemus is going to thrive a little bit. As you see, they had 700 people at one point. They had 3 general stores, a saloon, post office, a bank. They had they're called an ice cream parlor. You get ice cream and soda. And I mean, they were up and coming. And then something happened that didn't go their way. And the town somewhat went downhill after the unthinkable happened. There's such high hopes for Nicodemus. Such high hopes for Nicodemus. And it was all pinned on one thing. Their hopes and their dreams was on this one thing. And we'll talk about that one thing tomorrow.